Hey, what's up, Pritzker, rock guitarists? How are you guys doing? Hope you're holding up okay. Hope you're practicing a lot of guitar. So we're gonna have a quick lesson today. Let's go over some warm-ups first. Okay, the first thing I want to do. I'm not sure if we've done this before, but we might have. It's something I like to do with a lot of different students, so you've probably seen it before. But one string, and we're gonna go up one string like that. So that's gonna be oh 1 2 3 4 3 2 1, and we're gonna do that up one fret. Oh 1 2 3 4 3 2 1. So we're doing the open string in between each position of four fingers, which we're gonna do all four of, just like that. Oh 1 2 3 4 3 2 1. Oh 1 2 3 4 3 2 1. Oh 1 2 3 4 3 2 1. And we're going to do that until we get our first finger up to the 12th fret. Because as guitarists, we should be very comfortable up around and above the 12th fret. So we're going to work until right there. Okay, we're going to try each string at a different tempo, going a little faster as we go. All right, so let's try a warm-up one on the E string first, going nice and slow, just to really get the vibe of how this is supposed to go and get your fingers used to doing it, okay? Okay, here we go. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, nice and slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. This is also a great way to practice different picking techniques. Right now I'm doing palm muting with my right hand, and I'm also just doing all downstrokes. So just decide whichever thing you want to work on for that string, and that's what you can do for that one. So. And here's our last one on the 12th fret. Nice job. Okay, so let's go a little bit faster this time. We're going to go to eighth notes at this tempo. Okay, and this time I'm going to switch my picking pattern. I'm going to do alternate picking with my right hand, down, up, like that, and for my A string. Once we're at these faster tempos, it's a little harder to do all down strokes, but you still could at this tempo, so if that's what you want to practice, that's fine too. You could also do all up strokes if that's what you need to practice, but right now I'm going to do alternate, down, up, just like that, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Nice. Cool, let's go to the D string now. A little bit faster. Like that. Ready? D string. 1, 2, ready, go. Last one. Nice job. Okay, now we're on to the G. Let's go just a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, go. Last one. Great job. Okay, now we're on to the B string. Ready? B. 1, 2, ready, go. Last one. Cool. B string over. Now, our fastest tempo yet. Let's try the E string. Cool. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Awesome. I hope you're nice and warmed up after that. We're going to go now and look at some bar chords. So before we talk about bar chords, I want to talk about in general chords. So what is a chord? Anytime you have more than one note played together, you've made a chord, okay? Now, you could argue as to what chord that might be. It really takes 3 notes to make a very definitive chord, but any 2 notes played together, that is a chord, okay? So anytime you do this or whatever, anytime you do that, anytime you hit multiple notes together, that's a chord. Even if it's a ridiculous one that doesn't sound good, it could be analyzed and put into any kind of harmonic structure. So, but the first thing that you need to know to build a regular chord, when we say C or G or A or anything like that, there's 3 notes that you need, okay? So you need the root note. That's the lowest note. When you say a C chord, it's C. C is the root, okay? And then there's 2 more. Above the root, you need the 3rd and the 5th. And what I mean by that is I'm using each degree of the scale to count. So C is 1, right? So from the C major scale, if I went up C, D, E, E is my 3rd, okay? So if I went to the 5th, I would do C, D, E, F, G. G is my 5th. Okay, and you can take any major scale and use that formula and find the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. Okay, it doesn't even have to be a major scale. It could be any scale. Anytime you start on any note, if you want to build a chord from that note, right, you do 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so let's take any other note, right? Let's say you have, let's go from G. So we have G, right? That's right there. That's the 3rd fret on the E string, G. Okay, and if we count up G, A, B, B is the 3rd, so that would be G, A, B. That's our 3rd right there. So G, B, and then our 5th is G, A, B, C, D. G, A, B, C, D. So that open D right there would be our 5th. G, B, and D. And now, when we play chords on the guitar, we usually don't just play only those 3 notes like that. Right? We could, and that would sound nice. If we just did G, B, D, that's a chord, right? But on the guitar we have 6 strings, and it's all set up to fit into our hands really nicely, so we can play chords like this. So what that is different octaves of G, B, and D. So let's go through just this open G chord here, which is something I'm sure you guys know. It might look like this, or like this, but that's G. So I want to play a G chord. Now I want to go through each of these notes and see if they're all our root, our 3rd, or our 5th. G, B, or D. So we're going to start here. Our root note here, as we already discussed, is G. And then this 2nd fret on the A string is B. And then we have open D. And then above that we have open B. This all sounds familiar, right? And then at the top, this 3rd fret right here, that's a G again. So we have G, B, D, G, B, G. So they're all either roots, Gs, or 3rds, Bs, or 5ths, Ds. Does that make sense? Every chord that unless it's a 7th chord or any kind of other like number that you see after a chord, like a 9th chord or anything like that, which you probably haven't seen yet, but maybe you have. Those are more than just 3 notes. But if it just says C or C minor or A minor, A major, those are just 3 notes. Okay, so let's try to take this and translate it into bar chords. Okay. Now, we should talk about the difference between major chords and minor chords. So like I said, a major chord or a minor chord, if it's just C major or C minor, that's just 3 notes. But those notes change a little bit. So C major, right, we would have C is our root note, C. We need a third, so let's go from C and count up to the third. C is 1, D is 2, E is 3. That's right. So we have C and E is our third. What's our fifth? C is 1, E, F. Sorry, C, D, E, F. That's right, G is our fifth. So we have C, E, and G. And that would be our C major chord. Now if we played an open C major, it would be like that, right? But all those notes are just C, E, and G. Okay, so let's say we have C here, we have E right here, and we have our open G. Just those 3 notes are enough to make a C major. So let's do that. Now if I want to make that a C minor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that third and lower it down 1/2 step. So then I have C, E flat, and G. And so that's the main difference if you're just talking about a chord between major and minor. You just change the third down 1/2 step. So if we take C major, C, E, G, make that C minor, that's C, E flat, G. Just like that, okay? That's going to come in handy when we now look at some of our bar chords, because we're going to look at the difference between major bar chords and minor bar chords first, okay? Okay, so using that idea that if you take a major chord and lower the third down 1/2 step to make a minor chord, we're going to do that now with our E open chord. I don't know if you know this chord, but if you don't, I'll show it to you right now. If you do, just bear with me for a second. This is E major. It's an open chord, it looks just like that. So we're going to start with our open E, okay? And then 2nd fret with our 3rd finger. Very important to use these fingers that I'm going to tell you, because that's what's going to make it easier to do bar chords later. So open E, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret here on A, that's B. 4th finger on the 2nd fret on the D string, that's E again. Okay, so we have E, B, E so far. We're going to put our 2nd finger here on the 1st fret of the G string. That's G sharp. So we have E, B, E, G sharp. And then we have open B and open E. So if we count from E and we want our third, we do E, F sharp, G sharp. G sharp is our third, okay? And then E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. B is our 5th. So if we go back to that chord, looks just like that. We have E, B, E, G sharp, B, A. So we know that G sharp is our third. How do we make this major chord a minor chord? We lower down our third by 1/2 step. So we go from G sharp to G. So now I'm just going to take off that finger, and we have our open G there instead of G sharp. So now we've made E major into E minor. Just like that. Okay? So I want you to take this E major chord, play it 4 times like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then take that middle finger off and play it again 4 times. That's E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. So we're going to do E major, E minor. Play with me. Ready, go. Now E major, E minor, E major again. Now E minor. Very good. Great. So now you can play major and minor bar chords. What? That's not a bar chord? Hey, wait a minute. Just take this fingering right here, okay, on your E major. Hold that right there. And I want you to move it up like that. 1 fret, just like that, okay? And now I want you to take this 1st finger and put it down on the 1st fret. And you're going to do this. You're going to take your finger and bar it across all of the strings like this, because this finger has to hold down this E string and this E string. So you have to use the tip of your finger for right there. And then this middle part of your finger right here has to go on that 1st fret up there. So I'm pressing down on all of those strings, and then I'm doing my E major like I did before. And now I made a bar chord. So we have E major. Let's go back to that. That's O, 2, 2, 1, O, O, fret-wise, okay? And then we're going to move that up 1 fret and put our bar down like that. That is an F major, because because we went up from E, 1/2 step is F. E to F. Okay, so because this is the least comfortable bar chord to play, because I want to move this up. So take this bar chord right here, freeze that hand, okay, and move it up 1 fret at a time, trying to keep that shape together until we get to the 5th fret, like that. So my first finger is now barring on the 5th fret, and I'm holding down that E major shape like that. This is called an E position bar chord. Okay, this is your first bar chord. So this, now that we're on the 5th fret right here, does anybody know what this note is right here? Huh? That's right, it's A. So this is our root note, A. And now if we hold that E position bar chord, we're going to have A major. And I know it's going to be hard, but it should sound like that. So my first finger, like I said, is holding down this note and these 2 notes right here. So should be held by that first finger, and then the rest of them are going to be with these fingers in the middle. So let's try that again all the way from E to make sure we have it, okay? Open E string, 3rd finger on the 2nd fret, 4th finger on the 2nd fret, middle finger on the 1st fret, and then open strings for B and E. Take that, move it up to where your pinky and your ring finger are on the 7th fret, like that, okay? And now put your first finger down over the 5th fret. And you should have it sound like this. I want you to play every string, and it should sound like this. It's probably going to sound like this at first, because it's very hard to get used to holding down 2 strings with this part of your finger right here. But that's what you'll get used to. I promise. If you practice it, you'll get used to it. Start here and go. If you do that every day, you'll get it in just a few days, I promise. Cool. So I want to try this where we're going to have A major, and then we're going to take off that middle finger like we did earlier for E and make it A minor. Now, the trick here is that I like to use my middle finger to help my first finger hold down all those notes, okay? So I'm kind of stacking them on top of each other like that and helping them hold down, because now you're holding down 3 strings with that bar chord, with that bar finger like that. Okay? Let's try it. A major, and then take off the middle finger to make A minor. Just like we did before, we're going to do 4 beats on each chord. Ready? Hold down that A. 1, 2, ready, go. A major, A minor, A major, A minor, A major, A minor, A major, A minor. Awesome. So now, last thing, to practice our E position bar chords more in a musical context, I want to do a little bit of a song. It's not really, I'm sure it's from a bunch of songs. It's not from a specific song, though. But I want to start with the G major bar chord. So that means we're going to have our first finger on the 3rd fret right here. That's G, okay? We're going to use these root notes. We're going to use G, A, B, and C. So that's your 3rd fret, your 5th fret, 7th fret, and 8th fret, all on the E string. So that's where your bar chord roots are going to be for this little etude. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a major bar chord right here on G. So that's 3rd fret, major bar chord. And then we're going to move it up 2 frets like this to A and make it a minor bar chord. And then we're going to move it up 2 frets again to B, stick on a minor bar chord again. And then we're going to go up 1 fret to make a major bar chord on C, like this. And then we're going to start over again at G. So it's going to go G major, A minor, B minor, C major, and then start over again at G major, A minor, B minor, C major, and that's how I want you to end it. You can do it as many times as you want to practice it, but at the very end I want you to try to go quickly down each chord just like that. So let's try it. Let's do the whole progression 4 times, and then at the end, the last 4th time, we're going to go trying to move those bar chords down as fast as we can from C major to B minor to A minor to G major. Let's try it. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. G major, A minor, just 4 beats on each, B minor, C major, back to G major, A minor, B minor, C major, back to G major, A minor, B minor. One more time from G, G major, A minor, B minor, and C major. Now let's walk down, ready? That's how you'll end it. So it's kind of a nice little song to practice that concept of major and minor E position bar chords. Cool. Hope you learned a lot. See you next time.